So now we're going to have sort of an artistic break, and this is Company One Theater. Many of you may know Company One. I recently saw the show they did called Astro Boy. It was this very kind of multimedia Japanese anime, really, really interesting. Company One stands out in the city's theater world because it considers itself a theater for the people. It wants to be provocative theater, the kind that really tackles serious issues, doesn't shy away from anything. And this is a theater that has a mission, it has core values, it has what it describes as a reason for being. You can go on its website and see it. It says that its mission is to change the focus of Boston theater by uniting the city's diverse communities. It has a reason for being, which is to inspire human connection and to affect social change. And one of its core values, which I love, is that it says never be satisfied. So Company One is going to be providing, I think, good. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having us here this afternoon. My name is Ilana Brownstein, and I am the Director of New Work at Company One Theater in residence at the Boston Center for the Arts in the South End. This season, we are 16 years old. We were founded by graduates of Clark University who took the school's motto to heart: challenge convention, change our world. From our founding, we've been dedicated to changing the face of Boston theater by uniting the city's diverse communities through innovative, socially provocative performance and developing civically engaged artists. Our audiences come from most of Boston's 16 neighborhoods, but primarily from Dorchester, JP, Roxbury, Allston Brighton, and Back Bay. Coming to a company show means, at its heart, being in a room that feels like this city. You're with a wide variety of different kinds of folks, different ages, backgrounds, classes, and colors, who see a show together and, on our best days, make connection with each other through the art to the world. While the American theater as a whole struggles to find its footing with young and diverse audiences, we are proud to say that through the programming of challenging plays that feature voices not otherwise given space on Boston stages, and through the mentoring of artists of color, we have an audience base that is 55% under the age of 35 and 35% people of color. Now, let's not fool ourselves, that's not good enough, but it's a step in the right direction. We're often asked by peer institutions how it is we've achieved this kind of numbers, what initiatives we've undertaken or what new programs we've conceived, but the truth of the matter is that it is both simpler and more difficult to implement. It's about a ground-up commitment to social change, cultural equity, and the responsibility of the artist to making the world we live in tangibly better. The structure of Company One Theater is that of a collective where we practice joint decision-making and shared company responsibility. That's unique enough in the Boston theater scene, but additionally, our collective is comprised of mid-career professionals working side by side with emerging early career artists. We carry this model into our productions, employing young actors, stage managers, and designers, and production staff. Our education department brings accomplished artist educators into the Boston public school system, and our exceptionally successful apprentice program, which is thankfully funded by the Department of Youth Engagement and Employment, which was formerly known as the Boston Youth Foundation. It cultivates very young artists of color, largely on the production and design side rather than on the acting side. So there's an ongoing crisis in the theater. Many companies around the country bemoan their inability to recruit production and design staff of color. To our mind, that solution lies in bringing high school students into early collaboration with professional artists and helping them see that there's a path available to them. We think of this as the teaching hospital model of the theater, and it's what guides all of our decision-making. Our vision is this: Company One is Boston's theater for the people. We stand at the intersection of art and social change. We aim to be a national leader for audience engagement, artist development, and the creation of new work that pushes boundaries by presenting issues and events critical to the progress of society. We are committed to community engagement, collective decision-making, transparent communication, and maybe most of all, mentorship. Internally at the company, we often say that none of us love the theater enough to do all this just for the sake of the art. We need to be seeing a tangible, positive impact in the city as a result of the art we make. So, today, you will be seeing actor Aila Peck in an excerpt from a play called Brahman, a One-Hijra Stand-Up Comedy Show. It's part of the Displaced Hindu Gods Trilogy by a playwright named Aditi Brennan Kapil. Aditi's work is perfect for Company One, and we think for Boston. She specializes in outsider characters whose perspective illuminates our world as a whole. The character you're about to meet, Brahmani, is intersex, which means that B was born with both male and female genitalia. The play, framed as a stand-up comedy, portrays B's journey towards coming to terms with their fluid identity and their place in the world. Brahmani and the other two plays in the trilogy, Shiv and The Chronicles of Kalki, are in performance now at Company One Theater through November 22nd. We'd love to see you there, and if you'd like more information, we have brochures on hand. I think they might be at the back of the room. So, without further ado, please let me introduce you to B.
So I want to tell you about my auntie. This is my impression of my auntie arriving moments after my sexually ambiguous birth. Anjali! What? Is your cellular not working? What did I tell you about keeping it charged? Otherwise, what use is it to be portable if you have no battery power? Thoughtless girl. We've been waiting all night and all morning to hear. Oh, look at that, precious. Look at that face. Oh, oh. Well, what? Well, what is it?
Well, we had a baby.
Yes. Oh, look at those eyelashes. It must be a girl. Is it a girl? Or a boy? It's always so unfair how the boys get the best eyelashes. Or a girl. Or a boy. Or a girl. What is this? Some sort of American baby game. What are we playing? 2 questions? Because it is not very interesting. It's one or the other. Pick a winner and let's go.
Well, you know, everyone's a winner.
What is this? New age bull feces? Are you soft in the head? Not everyone is a winner. This I have to explain to my children every bloody day when they come home from these American schools. And every bloody one of them is wearing a sticker that says, I am number 1. All 35 of them. And I am saying, do you realize this is a mathematical impossibility? Not all of you can be number 1. Someone has to be number 2, someone else has to be number 3, and so on down the line to the very last one who will have the distinction of being the loser. At number 35, we are Indian. We have an innate grasp of mathematical concepts and a hard-earned colonized nation's understanding of what it means to be a loser. And now that we are in America, where the winners are, I will not let preschool take away what my husband and I have worked so hard for. Yeah, you wouldn't either. Trust me. So anyways, back to me and all my sexually ambiguous newborn glory. Auntie finally gets off her tangent. Okay, enough with the suspense now. Anjali, or do I have to look for myself? Thankfully, this is when the doctor arrives, sparing everybody the embarrassing moment. Correction. Postponing the inevitable embarrassing moment. Oh, thank God, a medical professional. This is, in fact, how Indians greet the arrival of all doctors. Tell us, doctor, is it a boy? Is it a girl? Well, a boy or a girl, eh? Congratulations, it's an all-in-one. He didn't really say that. That would have been funny. Insensitive, but funny. I have no idea what was actually said at this moment, but I'm certain, whatever it was awkward. Water break. What is man and what is woman? These are questions that a young intersex dude-girl, girl-dude agonizes over. That and who invented pronouns? Because if I could just get my hands on them. Oh, and can we lose the parental controls on the family laptop? I need an education only pornography can provide. Seriously, Ma, unless you and Daddy plan on demonstrating, how else am I supposed to know what it's supposed to look like down there? The doctor will explain. You want me to choose a gender assignment without doing any real research? Hey, you don't need to do that sort of research. Sex is not the only thing your private parts are good for. What? I'm sorry, what else are they good for? I'm not gonna make a decision based on how I would prefer to urinate. I'm not listening. Well, I just want to note it for the record that the Republican Party is denying me sex ed in the classroom, and my liberal, free-thinking parents are denying me access to pornography, and if I am gender confused, then you are to blame and not my genitalia, which I have yet to see adequate proof of is funny. Deprived of pornography, I turned to Aristotelian logic. Yeah, I don't know either. But there it is. In my 6th grade journal, I present to you a series of syllogisms written by yours truly. Syllogism number 1. All girls have breasts. Brahman has breasts. Brahman is a woman. So good, right? Except then there's this one. Syllogism number 2. No women have penises. Brahman has a penis. Brahman is not a woman. But wait, it gets better. Syllogism number 3. All humans are male or female. Brahman is neither male nor female. God is neither male nor female. Brahman is God. I remember this period, actually. There was something in this world that neither logic nor mathematics could resolve, leaving me unmoored, without gender, sure, but also without faith, without a name, without a single certainty upon which to build a new reality. Had I ever really wanted to be a train conductor? Was I really any good at science? Why was my favorite color yellow? And that is when Auntie walked in with a very special book that she brought back from India. I hear Anjali has been of no use in this matter as usual. Brahman, you are a young boy, at least for the time being. So I have brought you your pornography. That's right. Where right-wing politics, wimpy school districts, and squeamish parents fail their teenage constituencies daily, the loud, embarrassing relative with a South Asian art history book comes through. Khajuraho, the temple of love.
Thank you. I have a general arts question for you.
Great. Should I use this?
Sure.
Okay, great.
And I want to reference another story. I had done a story maybe a year ago about this. It's called Boston's Unscripted Musical Project.
Okay.
It happens in this little space near Fort Point Channel, and the audience calls out a subject, and they spontaneously, using the principles of improv, make up a musical. But the space they use was developed by a guy who really feels like there's this dire need for more performance space in Boston.
Yeah.
And he said, particularly among comedians who just feel like the best they have is the back of a bar or maybe a Chinese restaurant. You know, I think the Hong Kong lets some people in.
Okay.
So I guess, could you talk to us generally about, is the demand greater than supply right now? I mean, you're providing for a particular type of performance for people who really look for it. Tell us a bit about sort of the state of what Boston has versus what it has room for.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how many people know about what's going on in the sort of the Boston theater and performance venue problem right now. We have a city that has a ton of young and hungry performance groups, even more than when I came to the city in 2002. I would say in the last probably 7 years, we've seen this huge uptick in especially people who are from the universities and the programs here who are staying, which is great because, as you guys probably know, Boston has a bad brain drain problem. But what that also means is that we have really outgrown the available spaces. Boston generally has a property problem. We don't have a lot of space in the city that isn't otherwise claimed or earmarked for development somehow. And just in the last 6 months, we've lost one of our most potent and creative spaces for sort of young, small group performance. It was at the Piano Factory, which is just down sort of off of Tremont, Columbus area on the other side of Mass Ave. It was a place that had this really terrible, small, little performance space in the basement, but it served a huge variety of styles of performance. And when they closed recently, it was not because they wanted to, but because the building is redeveloping into more luxury condos. And that example is really key. It's a hallmark of what's happening across the city. We have a real lack of space, and it's a huge problem because the spaces that are available are expensive.
Well, and I wonder, what do you think the solution is when there is such an enormous demand for residential real estate, commercial real estate, and where people can pay more than many artistic groups would? What has to happen to make that situation better?
Well, one of the things that's happening is that we're seeing a lot more activism coming up from the young artists, which I think is hugely important, but they're also getting an ear at City Hall, which I think makes a huge difference. With the bringing in of the new Arts.Their and with Marty Walsh's pretty phenomenal commitment to arts in this city, which is something that I think all of us in the arts community are incredibly happy to see. They are really listening to that need. We don't have a series of solutions quite yet, but I think one of them has to be with the city making some policy shifts around the rules for luxury developments, right? If a development is coming into a space that was largely to that point maybe ungentrified, which also means it's a place where people can rent space for cheap, especially artists, then I think that those developments really have to have into their charters built in an allowance for space that is kept for community groups of all kinds, not just arts.
And you're right, of course, Boston has a new Arts.Their coming from the city of Chicago,
That's
I think.
right.
I don't think she's actually started yet.
No, she starts in December, but she's been in the city a couple times to meet with various constituencies.
Oh, that's good, good. Well, thank you very much.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thanks for
Thank you.
having us.